Should you or should you not be working out on an empty stomach? As the amount of fitness information available is getting bigger, the chances of being exposed to bad advice are also growing, creating more fitness myths than ever. Yet, one of the most debatable myths that has been out there forever is the myth of working out on an empty stomach. It has been a prevailing thought for decades that you shouldn't eat or drink prior to working out. And it seems that only recently the public has started questioning its accuracy. The common belief of the effectiveness of the hungry workout isn't unsupported, actual research backs it up. The British Journal of Nutrition and the International Journal of Sports Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism both published studies that show data in favor of fasted, as opposed to fed training when it comes to the percentage of fat lost per workout. Additionally, a study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology shows that fasted training provides a better anabolic post-workout response to weight training, meaning it provides a better environment for building lean mass. Namely, the conclusions indicate that prior fasting may stimulate the intramicellular anabolic response to ingestion of a carbohydrate, protein, leucine mixture following a heavy resistance training session. Moreover, by providing better absorption of the post-workout meal nutrients, fasted training has the great potential to improve insulin sensitivity, and is, therefore, an important agent in the fat loss process, as insulin sensitivity shows how easily fat and muscle cells in our body take in glucose. Regulating insulin sensitivity helps lower the blood sugar levels, which is one of the most important factors in weight loss. The Journal of Physiology published a study that shows significantly greater insulin sensitivity improvement for the fasted training group as opposed to fed training group. Finally, fasted training proved beneficial to endurance performance. In a study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditional Research, 10 professional cyclists maintained lean mass, lowered fat mass, and maintained performance. However, there is another side to the story that trumps the beliefs of efficacy of fasted workouts. As sports dietetics specialist Kelly Pritchett, Ph.D., R.D., explains, while the body's response to a high-intensity fasted workout is to burn glycogen, the stored-up carbohydrates, eventually, the body starts to adjust to the new system and starts storing fat from the next meal and burning less calories in order to compensate. Additionally, a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows no benefits of fasting, since longer periods of avoiding food showed a decrease in resting metabolic rates, calories burned per unit of time a day usually. What's more, fed training actually helps reduce appetite later in the day, as a study in the journal Appetite shows. Whereas both fed and fasted training participants were expanding the same amount of energy throughout the day, the fed training participants experienced lessened appetite later on, which means less snacking or overeating later in the day, which is great news for anyone who wants to lose weight. Although it may seem, according to scientific data, that fasted exercise provides better results, later and more extensive research shows the opposite is true, as far as the fat-burning capacity of fasted training is concerned. While it is accurate to some point, on the other hand it is proven to be counterproductive. Namely, throughout the course of a high-intensity fasted workout, having no more fat to burn, the body starts to burn muscle instead. As another study published in the European Journal of Physiology shows, during high-intensity training, without prior eating, the body relies on burning muscle proteins for energy, which is certainly an unwanted scenario for both professional athletes and people who are just trying to shed some weight and feel better. Another important benefit of fed training is that it gives you the ability to improve at a steady rate, which is impossible to achieve through a fasted workout regimen. As a study from the Journal of Science and Medicine in Sport shows, being able to push yourself a little bit further each time and outperform your previous training isn't feasible with fasted training since your body lacks the energy to rely on for additional strength. By eating a light meal before your workout, your body will be provided with enough energy to help you perform a little better each time. As the study concludes, meal ingestion prior to daily exercise can modify some of the exercise training-induced adaptations normally seen with endurance training compared to when daily exercise is undertaken in the overnight fasted state. When it comes to burning fat, the results are more favorable for the fed training method. As another study in the International Journal of Sport Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism shows, physical activity after a light meal is far more effective for fat loss. The study analyzed the effect on oxygen consumption (VO2) and substrate utilization, how our bodies burn fats and carbs. Estimated by the respiratory exchange ratio (RER) in 8 young healthy men who were exposed to the same moderate intensity workout. The results showed that breakfast increased both VO2 and RER significantly. And more importantly, the difference was still significant 24 hours after exercise. This means that fed training increases lipid utilization, the breaking down of fat cells, which is essential for weight loss. Another study in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition has managed to completely refute the belief that fat loss is much faster throughout fasting training, as the results showed no significant difference in weight loss between women who ate a meal replacement shake before working out and those who performed training without any meal. All research considered, a fed workout actually has more scientifically proven benefits to overall health, fitness, weight loss, and workout performance, as opposed to fasted training. It may seem like fasted training aids in body fat loss, but in the long run, it actually has counterproductive effects, as the body starts to store fat and burn less calories as a precaution. Additionally, the studies show far greater and longer effects on burning body fat with fed training than those of a fasted. Moreover, the decreased appetite shown in groups who performed fed training is another reason for people who want to shed some weight to enjoy a light meal before a workout in order to prevent later cravings. Finally, for reaching new higher goals in fitness and training, a fed workout is again a much more productive option, since the calories provide enough energy for extra effort. The British Journal of Nutrition, breakfast and exercise contingently affect postprandial metabolism and energy balance in physically active males. The International Journal of Sports Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism, effects of fed versus fasted state aerobic training during Ramadan on body composition and some metabolic parameters in physically active men. European Journal of Applied Physiology, increased P76K phosphorylation during intake of a protein carbohydrate drink following resistance exercise. In the fasted state Journal of Physiology, training in the fasted state improves glucose tolerance during fat-rich diet. Journal of Strength and Conditional Research, effects of caloric restriction and overnight fasting on cycling endurance performance. Daily burn, intermittent fasting, should you exercise on empty? American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, alternate day fasting in non-obese subjects, effects on body weight, body composition, and energy metabolism. Appetite, energy intake and resting metabolic responses to 60 minutes treadmill running performed in a fasted versus a postprandial state. European Journal of Physiology, training in the fasted state facilitates reactivation of EF2 activity during recovery from endurance exercise. Journal of Science and Medicine in Sport, adaptations to skeletal muscle with endurance exercise training in the acutely fed versus overnight fasted state. International Journal of Sport Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism, exercising fasting or fed to enhance fat loss. Influence of food intake on respiratory ratio and excess post-exercise oxygen consumption after a bout of endurance training. Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, body composition changes associated with fasted versus non-fasted aerobic exercise. Julie McCormick is a writer and co-owner of the Cleveland Leader, a Technorati Top 1000 site. Read full profile. Have you ever noticed that some people are able to effortlessly remember even the most mundane details and quickly comprehend new things? Well, you can too. Learning how to improve memory isn't as difficult as you might think. To unlock the full potential of your brain, you need to keep it active and acute. Wasting time on your couch watching mindless television shows or scrolling through social media is not going to help. Besides getting out flashcards, what can you do to help remember things better and learn new things more quickly? Check out these 10 effective strategies on how to improve memory. Physical activities don't just exercise the body, but it also helps to exercise your brain. Obesity and the myriad of diseases that eventually set in as a result of being overweight can cause serious harm to the brain. So when learning how to improve memory, exercise is king. Furthermore, without regular exercise, plaque starts to build up in your arteries, and your blood vessels begin to lose the ability to regulate blood flow. Plaque buildup reduces the amount of oxygen and nutrients that your blood carries to your brain. When the nutrients don't make it there, the brain's ability to function is compromised. One study in particular found that exercising 4 hours after learning significantly improved memory retention. The researchers suggested that appropriately timed physical exercise can improve long-term memory and highlight the potential of exercise as an intervention in educational and clinical settings. To improve your memory, make sure you get moving every day. Even if it's just a brisk walk. It'll help you maintain and increase your mental acuity. Brisk walking, swimming, and dancing are all excellent activities. If you have trouble finding time to fit in a workout, check out this article, 5 Ways to Find Time for Exercise. Any risk factors that cause you major stress, like anger or anxiety, will, in time, begin to eat away the parts of your brain that are responsible for memory. Amongst the most brain-damaging stressors is depression, which is actually often misdiagnosed as a memory problem since one of its primary symptoms is the inability to concentrate. One study assessed memory in 3,999 veterans and found that depressive symptoms, without anxiety, had an adverse effect on immediate recall of new information and the total amount, but not rate, of acquisition. If you can't concentrate, then you might feel like you are constantly forgetting things. Depression increases the levels of cortisol in your bloodstream, which elevates the cortisol levels in the brain. Doctors have found that increased cortisol diminishes certain areas of the brain, especially the hippocampus, which is where short-term memories are stored. Prolonged depression can thus destroy your brain's ability to remember anything new. Seek professional help to combat your depression and any stressors causing it. Your brain will thank you. Getting a consistent 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night will help you in your task of learning how to improve memory. During sleep, the brain firms up memories of recently acquired information, especially during REM sleep. Getting enough sleep will help you get through the full spectrum of nocturnal cycles that are essential to optimal brain and body functioning during the waking hours. On the contrary, sleep deprivation can put a huge dent in your ability to form memories. Another helpful strategy is to take a nap during the day, especially after learning something new. This can also help you to retain those memories, as well as recharge your brain and keep it sharper longer. However, the length of your nap is also very important. Scientists, in one study, found that people who napped for 30 to 90 minutes experienced better word recall. 50 to 60% of the brain's overall weight is pure fat, which is used to insulate its billions of nerve cells. The better insulated a cell is, the faster it can send messages, and the quicker you can think. This is precisely why parents are advised to feed their young children whole milk and to restrict dieting. Their brains need fat to grow and work properly. Skimping on fats can be devastating, even to the adult brain. Thus, eating foods that contain a healthy mix of fats is vital for long-term memory. Some excellent food choices include fish, especially anchovies, mackerel, and wild salmon, and dark, leafy green vegetables. Deep-fried foods obviously contain fat, but their lack of nutritional value is not going to help your brain or your body. So think healthy foods and fats first. According to Larry McCleary, MD, author of the Brain Trust Program, an egg is the ideal breakfast. Eggs contain B vitamins, which help nerve cells burn glucose, antioxidants that protect neurons against damage, and omega-3 fatty acids that keep nerve cells firing at optimal speed. If you want to learn how to improve memory, breakfast is incredibly important. Other foods to add to your breakfast include fruits, veggies, and lean proteins. Avoid trans fats and high fructose corn syrup. Trans fats diminish the brain cells' ability to communicate with each other. And one study found that HFCS can actually damage the brain by promoting brain insulin resistance. Having a healthy breakfast in the morning has been shown to improve performance throughout the day. Don't skimp on this important meal. Nowadays, it's fairly uncommon to write down notes with a pen and paper. When we go to class or meetings, we take our laptops and use that to mark down important ideas. However, recent research has suggested that may be doing us more harm than good. One 2014 study found that even when laptops are used solely to take notes, they may still be impairing learning because their use results in shallower processing. You can start a journal, write yourself emails, or even start keeping a blog. All of these activities will help to improve your capacity to remember and memorize information. Most importantly, if you're going to class or to a big meeting, consider taking notes by hand instead of on your computer. Research shows that certain types of music are very helpful in recalling memories. Information that is learned while listening to a particular song or collection can often be recalled by thinking of the song or playing it mentally. Songs and music can serve as cues for pulling up particular memories. If you're looking into learning how to improve memory, this can be a great thing to try. Listening to music has been shown to specifically benefit the memorization of words. One study found that young adults who listened to music while memorizing a list of words, as opposed to listening to environmental sounds or silence, performed better when asked to recall the words. Next time you have to memorize a speech of want to compete in a spelling bee, try listening to music while studying. You may be surprised by how much it helps. Pay attention to photographers, charts and other graphics that might appear in your textbook, or if you're not studying a book, try to pull up a mental image of what it is you are trying to remember. It might also help to draw your own charts or figures, or utilize colors and highlighters to group related ideas in your notes. Another strong visualization technique for memory is the memory palace. This essentially involves imagining a place you know well, your house or a former school. For example, listing distinctive features of the place in your mind, and begin to associate those features with things you want to remember. Then, when you need to recall information, you simply go to the specific room or object where you stored the information in your mind, and it will come to you. For more information on how to build a memory palace, check out this article, How to Build a Memory Palace to Remember More of Everything. Reading material out loud has been shown to significantly improve memory of the material. Expanding further upon this idea is the fact that psychologists and educators have found that by having students teach new concepts to others, it helps to enhance understanding and recall. One study pointed out that this increased memory specifically because it forced students to recall the information in order to teach it. Teach new concepts and information to a friend or study partner, and you'll find you remember the information a lot better. Studies have shown that doing crossword puzzles, reading, or playing cards on a daily basis helps to delay memory loss, especially in those who experience cognitive decline in the form of dementia. So, pick up the daily newspaper and work on that crossword puzzle. Read a book, or enjoy a game of solitaire if you want to boost your memory. Everyone has the ability to learn how to improve memory and boost their brain power. And everyone will find that different strategies work for them. Try out some of the above in order to get a feel for what works for you. Current biology, physical exercise performed 4 hours after learning improves memory retention and increases hippocampal pattern similarity during retrieval. Archives of clinical neuropsychology, the effects of depression and anxiety on memory performance. Sleep medicine, memory, sleep and dreaming, experiencing consolidation. Johns Hopkins Medicine, can a nap boost brain health? Current neuropharmacology, impact of dietary fats on brain functions. Nutrients, dietary omega-3 fatty acid deficiency and high fructose intake in the development of metabolic syndrome, brain metabolic abnormalities, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Psychological science, the pen is mightier than the keyboard, advantages of longhand over laptop note-taking. Musicae scientiae, the positive effect of music on source memory. Applied cognitive psychology, the learning benefits of teaching, a retrieval practice. Hypothesis J in neuropsychal SOC, association of crossword puzzle participation with memory decline in persons who develop dementia. Text source, lifehack.org.